Hello and welcome to my Skyforge monk guide. To start with, you usually want to start in wind stance. It's mostly your mobility, get in and out of combat quickly, and you want to get your dash off to get your shield. Now an earth stance is more of your CC stance. You want to use your XXY to knock enemies into walls or knock them into each other to knock them down. And it's a pretty easy way to just get your earth stack on them from the passive. Falling Mountain is good for when they're below 30% health. Stone Palm is a good burst damage. And you want to make sure you use that when you have your vortex stacks. We'll cover that later. Fire Stance gets a bonus a percent of damage when you first go in. Wind Stance makes you move faster. Earth Stance makes your first combo apply a damage over time. And then your Dragon's Rage will make that damage over time proc right then, as well as doing 70% extra damage. And now Cyclone stacks are like basically the more kills you get, the more Cyclone stacks you get. It goes up to 14. And whenever you start combat again, your vortex your Cyclone will turn into vortex stacks. And you can use that to do bonus damage with your Dragon's Rage, your Fallen Mountain, and your Enraged Harpy. Now your B move and Fire Stance is good for clearing pretty quickly, but you gotta wait for a cooldown. Y is good if your B is down, or you can use it on bosses sometimes, but it doesn't do that much extra DPS. Okay, now I'm just showing off some more of the passes so I can read them. Now the wind says XY is pretty much your main thing you want to use unless you're up against a boss. And what it does is it applies a 95% slow the first time you're on wind stance. Rapid Stream, you want to make sure you're far enough away and make sure you just turn it to wind stance, and it'll give you a shield that covers 25% of your health. It's not really much for the damage, but gives a nice shield. Your B move and wind stance makes your dodge is 3 times farther, which makes it a lot easier to get that shield off. I'm starting out the combo here. You want to use XY, switch to fire, press B, and that does that. And wait for the enemies to respawn. You want to do that again, then you can use Y, or you can use XXY, which is pretty much the lazy version of Dragon's Rage. It doesn't get a bonus from the slow, but it does good against enemies above 50% health. This is XY. I mean, Xbox currently is kind of buggy. You gotta put a big delay in between the first X and the Y for it to work properly. Okay, now I'm going to show off on the stronger enemies. You want to use your Rapid Stream. Look at the big shield it gives me. You want to use that. Switch to Earth Stance, knock them against the wall to double damage. Then I added a little bit of delay, but he was slowed, so I decided to go to Fire Stance for the extra 150% damage points. Now for the even stronger enemy, you want to... well, the Wind Stance doesn't work, just showing that off. So they can't be slowed. You want to just avoid your wind stance unless you're using your wind catcher, which I'll cover later. See those vortex stacks down at the bottom left? Well, one is the Cyclone and the other is the vortex. And whenever I start combat, it's going to give me 14 of those tornado looking things. Okay, now just showing that doesn't slow or pull them. Vortex stack active, you want to use your Fallen Mountain. I messed up the rotation a few times here, but because for some reason my vortex stack didn't activate. But yeah, usually you want to use Wind Catcher to start. Well, if you don't have any Cyclone stats, which is usually when you're going to get like a distortion boss, you want to just use your Wind Catcher to get them all. And it lasts for about 15 seconds. Then you gotta wait for the cooldown to come back up. And as soon as you use Wind Catcher, you want to go to Earth Stance, use your XXY, and then you want to tap B as soon as you land. I kind of did it kind of late on this combo. I think I'm at the door right now. Oh no. Let's do this time. That, boom. Oh, wait, now? That, boom. Oh, I'm just not using Wind Catcher, my bad. Okay, yeah. Get off the wind stance, you want to make sure you use the Enraged Harpy. It does bonus damage as well with vortex stacks. There you go. That's the Stone Palm. It does a quick burst of damage, but its cooldown is kind of long. Well, basically, you want to just go between your Earth stance and Fire stance against bosses. And whenever your Wind Catcher is active, you want to make sure you activate that for the bonus damage against your XXX combos. And also, your Stone Palm does bonus damage too, so make sure you only use it when that's active. Yeah, these things have a lot of health for some reason, so it's gonna take a minute while I kill it. I messed up the rotation a few times here as well, because I used Falling Mountain a few times without Vortex stacks, and it was about 30% health, so it was just at the plain damage. Now look at that damage it just did. It was below 30% health, and I had Vortex stacks, so Falling Mountain did a lot of damage. And that's it.